Hello, this is Priscilla Batzell. I'm in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Fluid Art Studio, and I have a peacock feather. And over there you can see some of the colors I'm going to use. And I've just blacked the edges of my canvas. And in case you ever want to know, this is part of a silicone sponge, and this end was used a little, not very cautiously, but to rub it across the end and then rub my finger down, and it's the perfect way to prime a canvas fast. So this is a 10 by 20 inch canvas. This is Amsterdam Black, Floetrol, and GAC 800. Which is going to be my main facilitatory tool. I don't know for sure if I need a ton of paint around the outside edge, although I have done 3 of these now. But I know wherever I put my puddles of paint, I need a puddle of fairly thick base layer underneath. So I'm basically in front of you trying a new technique to do that. This is the best paint spreading tool I know of. This is my Oxo Omelette Turning Flip and Fold spatula. It carries a wonderful blade of paint. And I know I need, in order to get nice large cells, I need a fairly copious background. And also, by the same token, I'm probably going to be tipping some of this paint off. So I need enough so that it wants to flow, because I'm using Primary Elements, Prizm Pours, Vivid Intense, all the Colourarte, and I originally mixed them for blooms, so they're pretty thick, unless I recently started adding a little distilled water to them. Has to be distilled, by the way, otherwise you get bacteria in your paints and they start to rot, or at least that's the rumor. I've never taken the chance. It's hard to tell with the Floetrol because it doesn't smell good anyway. Alright, I have a fairly copious amount of paint. Seems like I'm going to throw that in the bucket after I wipe it off on my silicone mat, which I like to do because I add more colors to it. So my original assessment of how this was going to go was I was going to use up some Fandango, if I can get it to come out, and if I can't, I guess I can't. I'll switch to the larger bottle. And I wanted to try a little bit of this yellow-green with it, which is a Vivid Intense. The Fandango is a Prizm pour. Not sure that's my best idea. This is a Vivid Intense Phthalo Turquoise that I'm going to mix with some Royal Sapphire or Prizm pour. Sends that big lump of paint that's wrapped itself around my tip. And a little bit of cerulean blue. Then I'm going to use some Midnight Shadow. Both cerulean blue and Midnight Shadow are Prizm pours. Then I'm going to mix a little more Vivid Intense Ultramarine blue. And I have some Snapdragon, although I was looking for the Blue Flame, which is what I wanted, which is really bright and very similar. If I'd have found it, I probably would have used it. But being that I have this, this is a primary element. I think I'm going to want a little bit more paint where I started. And do I want anything more in the middle? Yeah, I kind of do. A little more Royal Sapphire. Maybe just a tiny little bit more Midnight Shadow. And then I've got a Vivid Intense Bronze. And I also have some Green Tea, which is a primary element. And that's the element I thought would make it look the most like a peacock feather. Now I've got a not quite wide enough spatula, but here we go. I got the widest spatula I've got. I've got Australian Floetrol and Amsterdam Black mixed. It's pretty much a 50-50 mix. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any more puddles or not, or if this is just going to be a single swipe. Very slow to make the wave of paint move where I want it to go, and carry the colors with it and drop them as I go. That's wonderful. Ha! I pretty much got what I wanted. Now I'm going to grab one of my Oxo Omelette Turning Flip and Fold spatulas and one of my dishes. Whoops. And scrape that paint right off of there. And throw it in a bucket so I don't have to rinse it quite as thoroughly. And then I can, yeah, that's awesome. Ha ha ha! That really did the trick. I think I said this was a 10 by 20 inch canvas. I'm going to try and move that all the way to the bottom corner, although it may not need to go. I'm going to try it anyway. I don't see any of that bronze. Well, I see some down here, which is kind of odd that it appeared at the beginning, because that wasn't where I anticipated it going. I'm going to let all of that go back up again, and I've dipped my fingers in the paint. I'm waiting for my gloves. Amazon will bring my gloves this week, probably really soon. After I do this big tip here, I'll make up my mind what I want to do next, if anything. I kind of wouldn't mind spreading it all over the whole canvas. I'm going to take that and let it go back down the other way again, hopefully. It's something attached to my canvas. I'm going to take some paint off the edges with my fingers. Spread the rest around. Pop that bubble. It was a bubble. This is pretty awesome. I'm liking this. It might just be as simple as this. It's still moving, so I've got a shot. I could always take the paint that I've got in my dish. Loving that Snapdragon in there. I'm glad I used it. Hopefully we get these colors when it dries. So far I've been very lucky. I should be speeding up this process somehow, but that's just not the way it goes when you're tipping. If you'd used a lot more paint, you'd have a lot more mess. So that's my theory, to avoid the mess. I don't want to lose any more paint there. So I'm going to take that, put it over here. I hope my head wasn't in the way the whole time. And I'm going to rinse my hand off for a minute. And then I'm going to look at that. And I'm really glad I added more Fandango. I'm really inclined to do a little more Fandango still. right there. And right there. And do I want anything else with it? That's the question. Since I really like that Snapdragon, that was Royal Sapphire before the Fandango. And I don't know if this is big enough, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'd like to make a dragon like this at some point in time. That looks like it's working. Cross your fingers for me. That's pretty cool. I kind of want some turquoise up here. I'm not sure if that's a really good idea to risk or not, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. What I'm going to do with this. And I might tip that off again. So far as I've done these, I've added a little something something like that. Just a little solid color, and I like the way it looks. Just drag the end out. I think the Snapdragon is calling me. I've got GAC 800 by Golden in all of my paint mixtures, so if the paint is heavy when it cracks, when it dries it won't crack. Okay, so what did I say? I wanted something over here. And I think because the Snapdragon is there, I'm going to go for that too. Knock off the paint I've got on my palette knife. Give it a little more cell activator. I really love these little cells down here. I'm going to go in both directions. Hope I can get some cells out of that. I'm going for it. More Snapdragon. Hopefully it'll show up. Although I'm really thinking it won't, because it's pretty heavy, the paint. It's not so heavy that it won't sell. There, I got my Peacock colors. I want to blow out this little Snapdragon area. Might have been better to try and tip it first. I love, love, love that Snapdragon so much with the Royal Sapphire. I'm gonna give in to my inclination. To add a little bit more. I thought I could have added some gold, and I think I could. So I love you guys. Please give me a thumbs up. If you like what I do, please share it. When you watch the video longer, you help my standing on YouTube. That hasn't happened very often, but I really appreciate it when it does. If you'd like to be a member, look for the join button under the video. It's $9.99 a month, and you have access to well over 150 videos and new ones coming out all the time. I'm so glad I did this after, because the cells are completely different. I didn't get the same size cells I usually get, but the colors make up for that just wonderfully. I'm thinking I probably should have tipped again, but I'm not going to, and I'm going to rely on the fact that there's GAC 800 in there to make sure. Now I know there's probably a reflection on my canvas, but I'm going to try and shimmer this at you. Look at those colors. Wow! That's a beauty. All right. You guys take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Look on my link tree if you can still find it. And if you can't, just ask me for the link and I'll give it to you. It's got a couple of websites. Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter links. I think we got to zoom in on that. Really, really pretty. Those are just succulent, delicious colors. If I was going to do a wave, I would have to use those colors again. I might do the wave and add a little orange in there just to catch the sunset. Wow. That's a showcase right there. I hope you can see all that. Yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Hopefully I'm still in view. All right, you guys take care of each other, take care of yourselves. My Amazon link is on the link tree, and I have 2 books. They're both about paint pouring. They're the first and the second 100 videos I made for YouTube. Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter links also on the link tree. And what was I going to say? Society 6, The Gallerist. Spring clothing under the video. Fine Art America, pixels.com. You can have my artwork reproduced at any one of those places. You just have to mention it to me in the comments. I'm so glad I did that. Really, really glad I did that sprinkling of little cells. So you guys, I think I said it before, but thank you for everything. Your kind words and your comments keep my morale boosted. I love you dearly. You inspire me always. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now. Priscilla out.